annals of history there are tales that chill the blood and sear their lessons into the collective memory of humanity. Among these, perhaps none is quite so macabre, so laced with the shadows of mortality and the fallibility of even the greatest, as the story of the king who rotted alive. This is not merely a tale of regal power or political intrigue. It is a testament to the inescapable frailty of the human body, and to the ways in which fate, disease, and the relentless march of time can humble even those crowned with glory. Our story begins in the Middle Ages, an era of both grandeur and squalor. The medieval world was a place of castles and cathedrals, of knights and crusaders, but also of pestilence, superstition, and the ever-lurking threat of death. Medicine was primitive, hygiene was rudimentary, and the boundary between the natural and the supernatural was blurred. Against this backdrop rose a monarch whose very name was synonymous with power, yet whose end would become one of the most gruesome in recorded history. The king in question was Philip IV of France, sometimes called Philip the Fair. He ruled in the early 14th century, presiding over a kingdom that was both wealthy and turbulent. Philip was known for his striking good looks, his iron will, and his complex political machinations. He was a man who tangled with the papacy, orchestrated the downfall of the Knights Templar, and reshaped the very fabric of French society. But for all his might, Philip could not escape the inexorable decay that would claim him. The first signs were subtle. Perhaps it began with a fever, a malaise that not even the finest physicians in the land could dispel. In those days, illness was often seen as a punishment from God, or as the work of malign spirits. Treatments ranged from bloodletting to herbal potions, from prayers to the application of strange poultices. Yet nothing availed the royal patient. Instead, his condition worsened, and soon the courtiers began to notice a most unusual and dreadful symptom. The king's flesh seemed to be decaying while he still drew breath. What could have caused this horror? Modern historians and medical scholars have speculated about the nature of the disease that afflicted Philip. Some suggest he may have suffered from a form of necrotizing fasciitis, a rare and aggressive bacterial infection that destroys the body's soft tissue with terrifying speed. Others propose that it could have been gangrene, perhaps set in motion by an injury or ulcer. In the absence of antibiotics or proper wound care, such infections could spread unchecked, and the results were often fatal, if not swiftly, then painfully and inexorably. The accounts from the time are fragmentary, but they agree on certain points. The king's skin became mottled and blackened, emitting a foul odor that no amount of incense or perfumes could mask. Open sores appeared, weeping pus and blood. The courtiers and servants tasked with attending to their sovereign recoiled in fear and disgust, yet royal protocol demanded that they remain at his side. The royal bedchamber, once a place of splendor and ceremony, became a darkened prison filled with whispered prayers and the stench of rot. As the days dragged on, the king's suffering only intensified. Fever racked his body, and his mind began to wander. At times, he would call out for his ancestors, begging them for deliverance. At others, he raged against his fate, cursing his enemies and blaming unseen forces for his agony. The physicians, helpless,